Welcome back, Mr. Onah joins us now. He's a lecturer, Department of Political Science, University of Lagos. Thank you for coming on again today. Continuing our focus on the National Conference, of course, this advisory committee, as you know, at the moment, just going round to get their comments on this one. But just before that, by the way, I mean, what's going on? Have you heard anything from ASUU? Have they briefed you guys on what to expect?
No, ASUU is a very democratic body. We have our procedures. We have not come to the point of the ordinary members knowing what is going on. But I think before the end of the week, we will get to that level. Usually, those who have the meeting with the president will now go back and meet and then call the strike, the zonal coordinators to a meeting, and these people will take the message down to the zones, and then after that, we'll call the local congresses. And then we transmit the decisions of the local congresses, meaning all the branches, all the in all the universities in the country will now transmit the decisions back to the national executive, and they will then meet and.
But at least your members would have read in the papers snippets of what the.
Well, we are seeing the body language, but nothing, because when they had the meetings with the vice president, sometime about 2 months ago, that's how the body language gave us some false indications that things were moving in the right direction. But when we were given the details, we saw that the concern for education was not at that level, and we continue with the strike. So we hope that this time around the right things would have been done. If they are done, of course, all of us are raring to
the right thing being relative. But in this case, how long does it normally take before all the meetings are done and you come up with a decision?
Like a week.
A week. Yeah. Does ASUU follow the same process before you call for industrial action?
It even takes longer.
Right. Yeah. Do you think that, I mean, because lots of people are asking questions, do you feel personally, and as a lecturer in the university, that you have a moral burden on yourself now to see how this pans out, especially after the Senate president met with ASUU, the president, and most of those happened?
The truth is that Nigerians have forgotten that lecturers are among the most informed in Nigeria. So that when we start hearing market women give us ultimatum and all that,
I'm not going. I mean,
we start wondering. Even when the Senate president and others start talking as if they don't know the position of education in a nation, we start wondering. The truth is that the moral burden on us is actually the burden of graduating people who are half-baked. Saying that somebody has a first class when we know that he cannot even compete with a third class from another country. That is actually the moral burden on us, and that is why we have been on strike, because we want the nation to take education seriously, so that when we teach, we know we are teaching the current things, the current knowledge, and when we graduate our students, we know we can bet on them. We can always say we have produced the best.
I know
that is not even simple, and they forget that we are also parents. Some of our kids are also in these universities.
I know it's not the main focus today, but just to get it out of the way, because I mean, lots of lecturers too, I mean, they don't have their children in those universities. They have them in private universities because they can't plan if they go to federal universities because of this.
We don't. I would be surprised if that is if that is the case.
No, it is
because we don't even have the money to pay for their tuitions in those private schools.
That's not entirely the case.
Mr. Onah,
it is the politicians.
Mr. Onah, let's not go there, please. We're also citizens of Nigeria.
We know what goes on. We see that.
You might think you do, but we
don't think we do. We know we do. We know some of them. Don't worry, we'll invite them over the week and they will say it on TV that is the case. But let's leave that aside and hope that ASUU calls off the strike so that students can go back.
If the right things are done, we will call it off.
What is the right thing from your perspective?
The right thing is that we will be in a position to graduate a student and we can truly say that this person is worth the certificate he possesses. So that we can't be liars. The nation is, the political leadership is forcing us to be liars.
Well, the right
to
thing,
be graduating people who should really be just starting.
Well, part of the right thing being granting these universities financial autonomy.
Well,
If they're tired of this government game, then you go get your funds, charge your fees, and do.
Is not exactly as simple as you think. Just financial autonomy, and then it will involve a whole lot of things, school fees and all that. And I don't think the nation is ripe for that.
Says who? But private universities and other schools are paying huge. Lagos State is paying, and then everything seems to be going well.
I started my career from a private university, and that is why I know so much about that. How many people are there?
This has the potential of taking almost all the time. Yes. But let's get back to this national conference because the advisory committee is out there. Tony Nyam has been replaced by the government, and so it's you know about what happened with Tony Nyam when he was in Edo. But haven't seen all of those activities and the replacements, and then they're continuing going across the country to get views of Nigerians, including yourself. Yeah. What do you think about this conference?
Well, I want to be happy that the president is responding to the wishes of the people, but on the other hand, I'm very confused about the whole thing called the national dialogue, the national conference.
Why?
Yes, because even though there is the need for a whole lot of things to be done in this country, the normal way to do it, and it will be right and it will be successful, is that a political leadership emerges, has a vision for a country, and then decides that the whole people will be involved in fleshing out that vision. So there is a national conference, but the national conference is tailored towards the vision of a leadership that has been mandated to lead the country at that point in time. No, I'm giving you historical a historical perspective. For instance, when Rawlings was in Ghana, if there had been a national conference there, it would have been tailored along the views of that political leadership. Maybe we are going this way and we are now going this way, but even though we are going this way, we are not too conversant with the details. So let everybody come around and let us form the details. But it is like the president, people are saying national conference, and the president says, there should be a national conference. Go and find out from people what the national conference should be.
Anything wrong with that?
Yeah, what is wrong with it is that eventually the national conference will be about everything and ultimately about nothing.
So you're saying he shouldn't have listened to the people?
No, what I am saying is that he should have been in a position really to tell us exactly, or to give us direction.
Unilaterally?
No, to give us direction.
Unilaterally?
Direction is not a popular thing. Direction is not an everybody affair. Direction is always given by even in a democracy. Direction is always given by a president, a governor, his commissioners. The fewer is always an apex, and the direction always comes from it's always a pyramid, and the direction always comes from the apex.